I'm British.
But so are these.
Matthew Broderick totally nailed it keeping a straight face around Jim Carrey and the cable guy, but when it came to the chicken skin scene at medieval times, he just couldn't hold it together.
Hello, Clarice. It's good to see you again.
This was reference to Anthony Hopkins' iconic Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs. Also, fun fact, Hannibal Lecter never actually says that line in the movie.
Hello, Clarice.
Oh, Lord.
In UHF, there's this hilarious scene where Billy spits in Uncle Nutsy's face. You can totally catch the kid actor starting to laugh as his spit hangs perfectly from Weird Al's nose.
Okay.
Eddie Murphy was apparently the cause for plenty of this in Beverly Hills Cop, especially because most of his dialogue was improvised. A good example is the Super Cops scene. You can see John Ashton is doing sort of a facepalm to hide his laughter.
They're not just regular cops, they're super cops. And the only thing missing on these guys are capes.
Norm Macdonald broke character in Dirty Work when Don Rickles was talking to Artie Lang's stomach in the movie theater scene. Norm couldn't keep it together, so they finally decided to keep his laughing in.
You get a horse and live in the mountains someplace and don't bother anybody.
You ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here. I don't know what it is, but I want to try it.
In the post-credits scene of The Avengers, the heroes are shown eating shawarma silently, looking super tired. But Chris Hemsworth can be seen briefly smiling when he sees Ruffalo holding back laughter. Given that this scene was shot last minute, literally the day after the world premiere, it's safe to say that the crew probably didn't have too long to get it in the can.
How do you know she is a witch? She looks like one!
In Monty Python and the Holy Grail, during the witch scene, John Cleese continually changed up his timing, which would usually result in the other members laughing during the long pauses. You can see Eric Idle biting the scythe he's carrying at one point to keep from laughing. Dee Wallace in E.T. the Extraterrestrial has to stifle an out-of-character laugh as she begins to scold his son for calling his brother penis breath at dinner, suggesting the insult was ad-libbed.
It was nothing like that, penis breath!
Elliot! Sit down.
I'm British.
But so are these.
In Dracula Dead and Loving It, there's this scene where Harker and Helsing stake Lucy. Steven Weber, who played Harker, didn't know how much fake blood he'd get sprayed with. So, when he starts hammering in the stake and gets hit with it, he's trying so hard not to burst into laughter. The scene in The Princess Diaries where Mia slips and falls off the bleachers was not scripted and was a complete accident, but the director kept it in anyway. Heather Matarazzo breaks character briefly, but Anne Hathaway is too busy laughing her head off. In Kick-Ass, during one of the early scenes where Mark Strong is talking to the driver in the car, he's describing the specifics of the slushie he wants, and you can clearly see Christopher Mintz-Plasse is about to crack up as Mark Strong plays it totally deadpan.
And I'll have an icy, like when they mix the red one and the blue one. And a pack of Twizzlers.
In This Is the End, James Franco's character is making a serious video complaint about his friend Danny McBride dropping by uninvited. But Franco starts laughing during the recording, and you can hear it before the video suddenly glitches.
Yo, fuck that dude.
Richard E. Grant broke into laughter, delivering his line about putting a jukebox in the Penrith tea rooms in Withnail and I. But since he and Paul McGann's character were supposed to be drunks, it was kept in.
Yes, we'll buy this place, and we'll install a fucking jukebox in here. Live and all use.
They did about 16 takes of this scene, and they laughed through every one of them. Finally, they had to just leave it in.
We are not drunks, we are multi-millionaire.
One famous example of an actor breaking character in a film is in The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. In a scene where Viggo Mortensen, playing Aragorn, kicks a helmet in frustration, he actually broke 2 toes. His scream of pain was genuine, but director Peter Jackson liked the take and kept it in the final cut.
Give me the fucking keys, you fucking cocksucker motherfucker!
This one was hard on the entire cast in the lineup scene from The Usual Suspects. According to Kevin Pollak, none of the actors could take the line seriously, and one of them kept farting. Eventually, the director gave up and decided to split up the takes they'd already taken. And just like that, an iconic scene was born.
How many fucking keys, you cocksucker? What the fuck?
In Star Wars: A New Hope, you can catch Harrison Ford grinning and looking away from the camera to hide his amusement when he says,
"We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?"
"We're sending a squad up."
You also briefly hear his voice crack from trying to hold back laughter when he says,
"Give us a few minutes to lock it down. Largely very dangerous."
This was because he had actually forgotten his lines and was just improvising. He was laughing because he was certain they were going to cut this scene, but instead, they kept it in. In Spaceballs, when the radar officer tells Dark Helmet,
"I'm having trouble with the radar, sir,"
there's a bit of a chuckle at the end. It should be noted that the officer was played by Michael Winslow, the man of 10,000 sound effects, almost a dozen Police Academy movies, and this was the point where he almost loses his composure.
"What's wrong with it? I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps." "The what? The what? And the what?"
You can also see him covering his mouth like he's trying desperately to stifle his oncoming laugh. In Deadpool, Gina Carano can be seen struggling to keep a straight face when Negasonic Teenage Warhead is completing a tweet before the final battle.
Oh no, finish your tweet. That's fine. Just give us a second. There you go, hashtag it.
In The Birdcage, during the scene where Armand, Agador, and Val argue in the kitchen about Hank Azaria not preparing an entree, there's a moment where Williams stumbles and nearly falls over.
Shut up! It's okay. We're all right.
This was a mistake by Robin Williams, who managed to stay on his feet but is clearly struggling not to laugh for the rest of the scene.
What are you standing there for? Go! Go! Fuck the shrimp!
Did you know that one of the funniest lines out of Fast and Furious 6 was actually improvised by Dwayne Johnson?
Hey, Mia, you better hide your baby, or... I'm just playing. You better hide that big-ass forehead.
The comment was completely unscripted, resulting in Ludacris's hilarious reaction, and thanks to Tyrese staying in character, the director kept the line in the final cut.
Hey, Mia, you better hide your baby, or... I'm just playing. You better hide that big-ass forehead. I was just joking.
Ewan McGregor had a hard time keeping a straight face while delivering the line about younglings in Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith.
I have seen a security hologram of him killing younglings.
The word younglings in such a serious context made it difficult for McGregor to hold back laughter. Gene Wilder was a master of improvisation, and his brilliance shines through in Blazing Saddles. In one memorable scene, Cleven Little realizes that the townspeople are still racist towards him, even though he is now law enforcement. Wilder tries to comfort him with a bit of humor.
You've got to remember that these are just simple farmers. These are people of the land. You know, morons.
Wilder added morons to the script, causing Little to burst out laughing. In the scene, you can see Little looking at the crew, wondering if he ruined the shot. However, his laughter made the scene perfect.
Morons.
In Ghostbusters, when the gang visits the Sedgwick Hotel and speaks to the man by the elevator, there's a moment where Dan Aykroyd turns his head and gives a little smirk at Bill Murray's comments about roaches.
No, we're exterminators. Somebody saw a cockroach up on 12.
That's gotta be some cockroach.
Bite your head off, man.
Bite your head off line was improvised right there and then, catching everyone off guard. In Almost Famous, when Penny Lane asks William to go to Morocco with her, he initially says yes, but then adds, "Ask me again."
Do you want to come?
Yes.
You sure?
Ask me again.
This was actually Patrick Fugit, as an actor, asking Hudson to repeat her line so he could deliver his line again for another take. However, director Cameron Crowe really liked the way it played, so he decided to keep it in the movie.
Do you want to come?
Yes, yes.